Why do you think most men are currently afraid of a marriage?
50-50 divorces aren't fair. Stay-at-home moms should be given 100% of everything in divorce and should be awarded alimony for life.
Why do so many women leave their husbands simply because they are unhappy or bored?
Those types of women leave because they wanted the wedding but not the marriage.
Files 70% of all divorces in the U.S., men or women?
Women.
Marriage rates in the United States from 1990 to 2020.
But it wasn't that I had left my marriage. It wasn't that I had left my marriage for another man. It's that
No, madam, you definitely left your husband for another man. Now guilt is killing you.
Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
Being single in West Hollywood is like going to the grocery store and seeing this really hot guy and you're like, oh my god, this might be it. This actually might be it. And then this other really hot guy comes up behind him and is like, babe, have you gotten the eggs yet? Like, why I think any man within a 5-mile radius of this place would want anything to do with a little blonde girl, I have absolutely no idea.
80% of divorces are filed by women. And why is that? So the comment that I got was, why do so many women leave their husbands simply because they are unhappy or bored? Why is it that men have the endurance of till death do us part, and yet many women have the endurance limited to their emotions like boredom and unhappiness? And I think this is a great question. And I see videos pop up all the time in this space about women leaving simply because they're unhappy. And why is that? And what's the solution to that? So what I had to see for myself as a woman, why we have such a limited endurance in marriage and we are so quick to leave and so quick to run, is because we have no concept when we get married that we are actually making a commitment to another person.
First and foremost, let's get one thing straight. Women tend to trust their emotions above all else, sometimes even more than the facts. When a woman feels unhappy or bored in a marriage, she's more likely to walk away because her emotions are in the driver's seat. Meanwhile, men are generally more inclined to stay and try to fix the relationship. We're problem solvers by nature, right? But here's the real issue: many women today lack that same level of commitment when it comes to marriage. They're quicker to dip when things get tough. The bigger problem: modern society just keeps validating this emotional-driven behavior, constantly encouraging women to do what makes them happy, even if that means walking away from a marriage without even trying to work things out. Meanwhile, men are expected to stay loyal and committed, even when they're feeling neglected or unappreciated. The bottom line? Women today are more loyal to their feelings and emotions than anything else. That's what drives a lot of the decisions you see. Here are the comments. Say it louder for the women in the back row. Can't make a broken person feel happy if they haven't put their own pieces of the fragments together themselves. I divorced mine after 16 years, never been better. We'll never have another relationship again. I was used twice as convenience, my fault, though I allowed it to happen.
Dating culture today is a crash course in divorce. We've embedded in people's minds and souls how easy it is to walk away from something and someone. Like, I need people to take a moment to understand what the dating culture today has done. It has made it so easy for you to drop an entire soul that you once claimed to love, to cherish, and promise to stay with no matter what. Now, in some cases, if there was an extreme reason, or there is a clear reason that no, separate, absolutely, I understand. But this ability to just drop a soul like it means nothing, do people genuinely understand just how evil that is?
The real problem: social media and the delusion a lot of women have about having endless options when it comes to dating. Relationships aren't the same anymore. People move on way too quickly whenever there's even a small issue. Another big issue? Hookup culture. It's like everyone's chasing short-term flings instead of meaningful connections. Casual encounters are seen as the norm now, and it's making it harder for people to build deep, lasting relationships. Instead of focusing on commitment, too many people are more interested in instant gratification, what feels good right now. And all this, it's weakening the foundation of modern relationships. Everyone's swiping left, right, and not sticking around long enough to make something real.
Files 70% of all divorces in the U.S., men or women?
Women.
Why do you say women?
Because we hate men.
Because the women are trying to take their money.
Maybe the men cheat more.
It's always over money.
No offense to men.
men, they don't have like the guts to file for a divorce.
Why women?
They're never happy.
Here are the comments: women replace while men repair. Men don't file more because they invested so much and have everything to lose, whereas women just take. Give a woman everything in the world as a man, and she'll still find something wrong. That's how it's been and will be, so don't waste your time. Kind of funny the women automatically go men, but their reason is always nothing.
50% of marriages end in divorce. Do you still think marriage is important? There's a saying that remarriage is proof that people are more optimistic than intelligent. It shows that we really are optimistic at heart, that we want to make connections, that we believe those connections, those heart connections are possible, that we were built for relationships. So the fact that 50% of marriages fail doesn't mean that marriage is unimportant. What it means is we need to focus a bit more on how important it is on the way in.
I don't think marriage has to be that hard. I think that we make it hard. Husbands don't need a whole lot. Love making, some respect and appreciation. Wives need some emotional intimacy and some romance. We get married so that we can enjoy that person we fell madly in love with for our whole life and eternity. So, what if it's just as simple as don't be selfish, flirt with each other, date each other, have fun together, put your spouse before technology, do little simple things that you did to show your spouse that you love them like you did when you were dating. And when conflict arises, listen to each other, be kind and respectful. These are all things that you did when you dated, right? So what do you think makes marriage so complicated? Let's hear it.
It's complicated, right? Men are out here doing everything they're supposed to, being there emotionally, putting their wives first, showing commitment. But for some reason, it just never seems to be enough. One of the biggest frustrations in marriage is that shift that happens after the guy commits. In the beginning, many women reel men in by being fun, carefree, non-controlling, using sex and charm to build that attraction. But once the man settles down and commits, it's like all of that just disappears. Suddenly, the carefree, exciting dynamic fades away, and now the relationship's all about control, expectations, and emotional demands. It's like the guy's been baited and switched what he signed up for in the beginning. Nowhere to be found. It creates this sense of betrayal. He's still holding up his end of the deal, but now it feels like he's constantly trying to please someone who doesn't bring the same energy, affection, or fun to the relationship anymore. It's exhausting.
70% of divorces are filed by women. Just over 70. And one of the number one reasons they give is financial hardship.
Because that's hard. It's
really hard.
A ton of stress.
Because women want security, and that's one of the number one needs of women, especially stay-at-home moms. Stability and security.
Safety.
Yeah. Safety.
And don't get me wrong, that is my number one too. But
yeah, but it also takes a different, confident person who has vision and love for the other person to empower them and say, hey, if we fall on hard times, I got your back.
I agree. That's a massive issue in marriages today. A lot of women seem fully committed when everything's going well, happily enjoying the benefits of the relationship. But the moment financial problems hit, suddenly their attitude changes. Instead of standing by their husbands and working through the tough times, some women start pulling back emotionally, physically, you name it. Their support fades, and before you know it, they're more distant or critical. That's when the real test of commitment shows up. Unfortunately, when those problems hit, instead of showing resilience and loyalty, some women head straight for divorce court. It's almost like their commitment was conditional on financial stability. Meanwhile, men are expected to weather the storm and keep providing no matter what. Where's the benefit in that? If loyalty only exists when the bank account looks good, what kind of partnership is that?
This is for all my single people, so if you are not single, just keep scrolling. Can someone tell me why in like modern dating or dating right now, we're talking on apps, talking on Instagram, you're sliding in, whatever, but no plans are being made? I don't know about you guys, but I'm not looking for a pen pal. I'm looking for a husband. So what's going on?
What's going on? What's going on is people forget the phone works both ways. It shouldn't always be on the man to make the plans, start the conversations, or show interest. If a woman is really into the relationship, she should be putting in effort to calling, texting, making plans. It's not rocket science. Relationships are supposed to be a two-way street. You can't have one person doing all the heavy lifting while the other just sits back, waiting to be pursued. That's not a partnership, that's a chase. And when a woman doesn't show that interest or take the initiative, it's sending a loud and clear message that she's not as invested. And at that point, fellas, it's best to just walk away. No one's got time to play tag with someone who just wants to be chased all day. We're grown here, not in elementary school. If she's not showing up, it's time to move on.
Is it okay for women to always say that they sacrifice their career for their family, even though men do the exact same thing? Let me explain. So many men will work 12 to 14 hours a day. They'll miss holidays. They'll miss birthdays. They'll come home, only eat dinner, go straight to bed, and do it all over again. Men sacrifice a lot of job opportunities to keep the wife happy and keep the financial situation afloat. And the crazy part about it is the amount of women that don't appreciate a man's sacrifice or don't give a shit about what the men sacrifice, including the milestones of their own children. It's like men aren't allowed to have feelings about their own children. So many men sacrifice their mental health. They'll come home and not say a goddamn word because they know that they're going to get bitched at or they're not going to be taken care of in the way that they deserve. Men sacrifice also the best years of their lives to provide for their families, and while doing so, they get ridiculed for not doing it good enough or doing it for too long. When you say to a woman, okay, well, let him stay at home with the kids, or let him work a part-time job, or let him get the job that pays less, 9 times out of 10, the women are like, absolutely not. And I'll just never understand how you think that you can have a successful relationship or a successful marriage and not understand the sacrifices of your husband that he's doing for you to provide for you. Well, you get to stay home with the children, which is the greatest gift that you can possibly ever have, is to watch your children grow up and be an active role in their upbringing. But some of you have been so brainwashed into thinking your stupid 9 to 5 is better than raising children that you've actually ruined the entire family dynamic for basically a paycheck. Okay, bye.
This right here is a sacrifice that just doesn't get enough recognition. The lengths men go to for their families, constantly sacrificing themselves in the process, it's wild. When a man works extra hours or takes on more responsibilities, it's not because he wants to miss out on time with his wife and kids. It's because he feels a duty, a responsibility to make sure his family is financially secure. And yet, this sacrifice often goes completely unnoticed or misunderstood. A man can't be in 2 places at once. If he's out there grinding to keep a roof over his family's head, of course, there will be moments when he can't be at home as much. It's not about a lack of love, it's about the weight of responsibility. But instead of being appreciated, men are often criticized for not being around enough. People don't see the emotional and physical toll we endure just to make sure everything's taken care of. We're expected to provide, but then judged when we miss family moments because we're out there doing what we have to do to keep the family together. Let's read the comments. I sacrificed my body, my mental health, and my family for my family. I tore us apart, trying to hold us together. And we catch hell because we don't spend enough time with the family. College tuition doesn't pay for itself. Brought that up to my ex few times. You can work in the oil field, I'll stay home, turned into another different fight somehow. Our sacrifice is a must, while her sacrifice needs appreciation. What a great time to live.
Again, to divorce, are the courts biased against men going through the divorce process? Of course, every situation is different, and there are so many factors unique to every case, ranging from where the case is located, who the people are involved. And when you say courts, I mean, the courts are the judges and the laws. And speaking to the judges, of course, judges are human beings and they all have their own personal, subjective opinions, experiences, beliefs, etc. But as a general rule of thumb, the courts are designed to give both sides an equal experience and process through the courts. Utah recently amended the code to even contemplate 50-50 custody arrangement and other options that mean both parents are meaningfully sharing the kids. And as far as the division of the marital assets and alimony, it's a court of equity, and all of the laws that govern that, and the courts attempt to apply them in a way that puts both parties on equal footing as they move forward and beyond divorce. So, no, the courts at the end of the day and the laws behind them are an attempt to give both sides an equal experience. And
so he came home and he was like, you know, babe, I lost my job. I'm like, all right, cool. So a month later, like the bills, it was time for the bills or whatever, you know, and I'm like, you know, the bills due, babe, or whatever. And he was like, okay, you know, I'm not working. And I'm just in a month, like it's all kind of hustles. You could have been doing something or whatever. So I told him, I said, look, if I pay these bills, are you going to pay me the money back? This man had the nerve to tell me, why should I pay my wife back for paying our bills? I told this man from day one, my money is my money and his money is our money. Why should I spend my money paying the bills? Like, no, he should have paid me back. So that's when I decided, like, I can't be with this man no more. So I had sex with his homeboy. Like, we all cool. I texted his homeboy or whatever. You know, we went together. We left. I met up with him. And we was chilling, we was drinking or whatever. And I started venting, you know, like I started getting emotional. One thing led to the next. I did not purposely mean to do what I did with his friend. But things happen. Like, y'all understand what I'm going through. So, you know, his friend ended up giving me some money or whatever. And he was like, you know, babe, look, don't worry about it. Handle whatever you got to handle. Like, his friend was every single thing I desire in a man. Like, everything I desire in a man. And, you know, ain't nobody trying to hear my side. Ain't nobody trying to...
This woman never had any real commitment to the man from the start. Her true colors came out the moment he hit financial trouble and couldn't pay the bills. And guess what? She chose herself. She chose her happiness and comfort over the marriage, abandoning the partnership as soon as things got tough. Sadly, this isn't even surprising anymore. It's become a common pattern with selfish women who only care about themselves and their needs. When everything's going smoothly, they're all in, happy to be there reaping the benefits. But the second life throws a challenge their way. Instead of standing by their man and working through it, they tap out. Their loyalty was only surface level. They were never truly invested for the long haul. It's like the moment their comfort is threatened, they hit the exit button, proving they were never really in it for the partnership. And what's even worse, this selfish behavior gets normalized, even excused, by these types of women. They'll justify it, saying they deserve to be happy. It's gross. No accountability, no loyalty, just a quick escape when the going gets tough. And that's the sad reality a lot of men are facing today.